welcome to the Mitzvah Party Podcast. We talk about anything and everything that has to do with a mitzvah party. And if you don't know what a mitzvah party is, well, Google it and then jump on board, because here we are. This is episode number 4, recorded on Wednesday, March 28th, 2018. My name is Clint Huft, and with me is the guy who pretty much wrote the book on the mitzvah party, the one and only Gil Zuniga. Gil, how are you?
I'm still writing. God, I haven't written the book yet. I'm like halfway through.
Everybody, you need to know, Gil is the real deal. If you go to zunigaentertainment.com, that's Z as in zebra, UNIGA entertainment.com, you will see just how extensive his experience has been in the mitzvah arena, or mitzvah party arena, I should say. And so, Gil, I'm guessing that you have something you'd like to chat about.
This is something that's like an add-on for mitzvahs, but I wanted to talk about dancers.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know, and some people will, if some people listen to this, they'll cock their head and go, dancers? Like, dancers, yes, dancers. Dancers can be a really important part of a party. And nowadays, more than before, I think that we're using dancers more and more. It probably was about 60% of the time before, and I think we're probably about up to 80% of the time we're using dancers at parties. And they're dancer party enhancers. That's what we call them, party enhancers.
So they're not dancers like with a choreographed routine or that sort of thing?
No.
Like a show?
No. They could be used that way, but not normally. No. Normally they're there to help the MC and the DJ corral the kids, to keep them in line, to pass out giveaways, to dance with Aunt Martha and Uncle Benny, Grandma, Grandpa, get in a circle on the dance floor and dance with a bunch of 10-year-olds and lead them in a quick impromptu line dance during whatever song is playing. For games, they're there to help us during the games, getting the kids organized. Line dances, they're on either end of the dance floor, kind of leading by example what everyone should be doing while we're teaching, while the MC is teaching. So yeah, they can really, really, really help a party, enhance a party, and the right dancers can do that. Now, the right dancers, that's the really important thing about this. Is,
you know what, when you were describing what a dancer does, it just occurred to me that it doesn't have to be a trained dancer. You know what I mean? It just has to be a person that performs a specific role, and you call that role a dancer, but it's not like a dancer.
Right. And that's a perfect segue into me explaining who my best dancer ever was. Because my best dancer ever that I ever hired in the 18 years I've had this company was not a trained dancer. He was not a trained dancer. In fact, I could probably outdance him.
Well, you are a good dancer, Gil. So
I'm a good dancer, but yeah, I am a good dancer. But most of my dancers are good, really good dancers. So, but this guy was not a trained dancer. Where did I find him? Oh, he was the camp counselor. He worked with one of my DJs as a camp counselor, and he was just great with kids. And I put it out there that I was looking for dancers, and one of my DJs who was a camp counselor said to me, "Hey, I know this guy. His name is Bernard. He's not a great dancer. He can dance, but he's just great with the kids." And I said, well, okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's give him a shot. And I tell you, the guy was like a Pied Piper.
Oh, no kidding.
The kids followed him. The kids would do what he just had. There was something about him that, and I think it was that he was kind of childlike. He was wide open. You never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. And to the point where we'd have to go like, Bernard, shut up. Right. No, don't comment on that. You know, it's like he was like a 13-year-old in the sense, but he was 23. But the kids loved him. Now, even the too cool for school kids, the kids who were just over it, even them, at times, he would win over. and he would just find a way. One time, I'll never forget this. One time there was about 15 kids, and they were hanging out in the lounge area because most parties now don't have tables for kids. They have a lounge area they can hang out, they can eat and chill. And there was about 15 kids in this lounge area. They were just not participating in anything. Right? They weren't doing line dances. They weren't doing games, nothing. And Bernard went over and started talking to them, and unbeknownst to me, and within 5 minutes, he had all of them looking away from their phones, and he had their attention. And then I looked over, and someone said, look at Bernard. And I looked over, and then Bernard started to sing. He just started singing. Yes, he just started singing. And these kids were paying attention. I was blown away.
Was he known as a singer?
No. I mean, no, not to me anyway. But he had a really pretty voice. He had a really nice voice.
Did you find out what he was singing? Was it like a popular song or?
No, I was busy, so I only kind of looked over and glanced, and it was doing in the middle of something else. But I couldn't believe it, and neither could anybody else. And he loved grandmothers. He would always look for the grandmothers and ask them to come out and dance with him. And he was so non-threatening. You know, he was slight of frame, so he wasn't like this big kid, big man. He was probably 5'7", 5'8". So he would just dance with grandmas. He loved dancing with, and they loved him. And I don't, at least a dozen times I heard from clients how much they loved him. They said he was awesome. That dancer, what's his name? Bernard. He was awesome. He was amazing. He was great. I would get that a lot from him, about him. And
I want to learn more about Bernard here in a second, but I'm curious. Do you know what Bernard is doing now?
New York. Unfortunately, he moved to New York.
Well, unfortunately for you, but what's he doing in New York? Is he a show business person?
No, as far as he was singing songs. I guess he was a demo singer. And like I said, I didn't know this when I hired him or when I tried him out. But he was a demo singer because he was singing demos for songwriters. And
so he was really a singer. That was like his thing.
Yeah, he was a singer.
So it makes sense that when he starts singing, these kids would look up because he probably has a really good voice. Now that makes sense.
Right. So it turned out to be that. But like I said, he would barely keep up with the line dances, but he was great with the kids. He was just amazing with the kids. And he could swing dance too, and that's what made him popular with the grandmas. But I tell dancers to this day, I said, my best dancer ever wasn't a dancer. He wasn't really a dancer.
You know what that reminds me of, Gil? When you and I first met each other, we were working for a restaurant company that had nightclubs, and you lived in Northern California, and I was working in Southern California, and we both had to hire and fire and train DJs for the nightclubs.
Right.
And in our particular format, we needed personalities. We didn't need DJs that were excellent at putting the music together and mixing and all of that kind of stuff. We needed people that could get on the microphone and be personable, and then we could teach them the technical skills, right? You can teach, it's like basketball coaches. You can't coach or you can't teach height. If there a kid's big or he isn't. And so the same thing with this, where you have to find the right personality, and then you can teach them what to do. So in the hiring process, when you're looking for a dancer, is that the first criteria? And how do you evaluate that in an interview situation?
Right. To me, normally an interview is just very short. It's like, what have you done? And I want people, guys, to be able to talk. So I ask them questions to kind of lead them into conversing about, telling me about themselves. What do you do? What experience do you have? What kind of dancing do you do? What other jobs have you had? So I'm looking for people who have had jobs working with kids, because it's really important. So, but at a party, normally what we would do is we'd have someone come watch a party, and then we would say, just come watch. If you want to join in, go ahead and join in, and just watch the other dancers, because obviously there'd be other dancers there, and watch what they do and just join in. So the dancers who immediately jumped in, I mean, there was one dancer who I lost to New York. Her name was Rochelle. She was awesome. The first time she came to a party, she jumped right in, started talking to the kids, started dancing with the kids, was just amazing. And I thought that's it. Not showing off her dance moves. She could dance. She had good dance moves. She could follow along. She knew. And we explained to her basically what the dancers did, but she jumped right in for about an hour, hour and a half. And I said to her, I said, you don't have to stay. She goes, no, this is fun.
Oh my gosh, that's gold.
Hired her. Yeah, gold. It's gold. It's the ones that sit on the sidelines and go, okay, yeah, I get it. Sure, let me know, kind of thing. That you go, okay, no. So that is the test. That is the test, is to say to someone, you don't have to jump in, but if you want to, go ahead, go to school on our dancers, pay attention to what they're doing. That's what, this is what they do. So, but if you want to join in, go ahead.
It's almost like the job category or the job description is mislabeled, because they're not really dancers. They're party enhancement or something like that. If you had to relabel it, what would you call it besides a dancer?
No, it's a party enhancer. That's like I said, they're dancer party enhancers.
Well, just so you know, that's our new business, Gil. Yeah. And we're going to get wearables, T-shirts with party enhancer. We've just revolutionized the Mitzvah party experience. Oh my gosh. And it was only episode number 4. Well, okay. So now I'm curious about the training process. I mean, you said, watch them and that kind of stuff, but there's line dances and there's timing and working in conjunction with you as a ringleader. So how does that go? Right. How do you train somebody to be a party enhancer?
Well, when I first started, what we did was I had a trained dancer who actually worked bar and bat mitzvahs. She came to work for me from another company. And what I did was I hired probably 4 or 5 dancers. And then we just basically, who had never danced at a bar bat mitzvah. So we rented some studio time at a dance studio. It was like $12 an hour. And we went in there and they're dancers. So they pick up really easily. So we played the songs that we did back in those days, which some we still do. And the line dances, and we taught them the line dances, and it was pretty simple, like I said, because they're dancers. They take classes, they learn routines all the time. So it didn't take much. Literally, when the wobble first came out, a client had asked, or the bar mitzvah boy or the bat mitzvah girl said, can you guys do the wobble? And at the party, they said that, and my dancers said, what's the wobble? They just kind of looked at each other. What's the wobble? They immediately went on YouTube, found the wobble, learned it, and we were able to do it at the party.
Oh, the God bless YouTube. Holy moly.
Yeah. I literally learned it within a matter of, 10 minutes of watching it going, okay, you do this, do it, okay, got it. And along with my MC, who was a dancer originally, a lot of good MCs are original dancers. Learned it and they went out and did it. So it's so simple now. Everything's so easy that you could learn something from the internet. But like I said, good dancers are great with kids, great with adults, great with everybody, have good personalities, aren't wallflowers, aren't shy, aren't afraid to talk to anybody, aren't afraid to try things. So that makes a good dancer. And you don't have to look like a Vegas showgirl. In fact, I've had a client say to me, what do your dancers look like? And she kind of caught me by surprise. And I said, well, most of them are kind of short and cute and bubbly. And the guys are, dancers, basic dancers. And he said, okay, because I was at a bar mitzvah last week and the girls showing their midriff and they looked like Vegas showgirls. And I didn't like that. And I said, no, that's not us. That's not us. We
Well,
don't.
see, now that's a really good point. That's a really good point because in the dancer community, if there's different categories, right, of professional dancers, and some of them are showgirls, or some of them are, I don't know, whatever, hip hop, whatever it is, and they're in that community, they are expected to show up looking a certain way, and so
Correct.
during the process of training them, do you show them a photo of this is how we dress, or do you provide them with a uniform of some sorts, or how does that work?
Basically I tell them we're dressed in all black. You're all covered. No. It's got to be conservative. Black pants, stretchy if you wanted to. Black top. Wear a sweater or a jacket, and obviously once you get going, you want to take it off. But it can't be sexy. It's got to be conservative. We're at a bar and bat mitzvah.
What about shoes?
They can wear dark tennis shoes if they want, or dark dance shoes if they want. Something comfortable.
What about their hair, hair and makeup and that sort of thing?
Light makeup. Their hair pulled back if they have long hair, short hair. So it's something that they have to be like if you were taking a class. So I don't want them all made up. I did have one girl who way too much makeup. She was wearing jewelry and makeup. I said, "Can you please take those earrings off?" And you got.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you saying no earrings or nothing ostentatious?
Right. Exactly. It's not about standing out. It's about helping out. It's about being of service.
I need to have a caveat there. I'm not really sure what the definition of ostentatious is. I don't even know if that's a word. It just came out of my head. So I think
sold it.
Yeah,
you totally sold it.
Yeah, but I know that there are some people who will immediately, say, "Well, I'm not listening to this podcast again. That guy's a dope." Well, anyway, I don't even know how to spell ostentatious.
He's using large words. Don't understand.
He doesn't know what that means. Ostentatious is some sort of pipe fitting. Well, the actual word is ostentatious. That would be nice if I had said that right away. I am really curious about this whole thing because the message that I keep getting from you is it's all personality driven within a certain category. You ever had a dancer where besides Bernard, who was just so, engaging, you ever had a dancer that was too much over the top, too much like almost wanting to be the center of attention type of deal, and you had to reel them back in? Or do you eliminate that in the hiring process?
No, if there's too much ego, you can tell when you talk to somebody, when they start talking about themselves, you can pretty much tell if there's way too much ego. Because one thing I learned about this business, when I first got into it, I had a huge ego. I was a club DJ. I was working 5 nights a week, and Saturdays I was working for this company. And I was it. I was the club DJ. You were like, you kind of had this club god complex. Back in the day, and it didn't play well in the Mitzvah world. So having that attitude, having that ego didn't play well, and I had to let go of that ego. And it took me a while. Especially becoming an MC.
Was there a key moment?
Was there a key moment?
Yeah, where you, because I know we both come from the club world. Was there a key moment when you realized or something happened and you knew how to change your behavior?
I don't think there was a key moment. I just think that I could tell the response I was getting because you can't get things by kids. They're very perceptive. That's true. Kids will call you on anything at any moment because they're just so perceptive. They just really are. And I think that I was getting that vibe from the kids. And then finally I thought, no, I got to literally, and this is something I tell everybody or MCs that I train or DJs. I said, you got to literally, before you walk in the door of that room, hang up your ego, hang it up, and then pick it up on the way out. I said, you can have your cockiness, your ego and stuff, but not in that room. You got to let it go. We're being of service here. It's not about us. It's about them. It's about the party. It's about the mitzvah. It's about the family. It's about the guest. It's about the staff. It's about everyone coming together to create a great experience for this mitzvah child and this family and friends. So I would tell people, no egos in here. It's not about you.
We're in the Southern California market, which I have a feeling that compared to some other markets throughout the country, the cost of an average mitzvah party might be a little higher here. I don't know if that's true. I don't have any facts to back that up. But when you're thinking about paying a dancer or a party enhancer, how do you figure out what their fee or what their rate should be? Is it hourly or is it by the party? How do you do that?
It's an hourly rate. They get paid hourly rate. Some companies take advantage of their dancers. I've heard horror stories. I remember hiring a dancer one time and saying, "Where do I meet you at to load up the equipment?" And I thought, what? No, just meet me at the event and just make sure you're there a half hour before your start time. Start time's at 6 o'clock. Be there no later than 5:30. You can be a little earlier if you want, but don't be any later than 5:30. Your call time's 5:30. So, and then at the end, so can I help you pack up? It's like, no, you don't have to. You're done. So we've come to find out, other companies would hire their dancers, pay them for the party a certain amount of money, basically what I would pay mine. They would have them come to their facility, help load up, go to the party, help break down, and then go back to the facility and unload. And that was included in their pay. I couldn't even believe. And so when people started working for me that worked for that company, they were like, what? This is awesome. And they would help. They would help. They wouldn't get there early or meet or anything like that. Sometimes we had to, if we were going to Orange County or if we're going to Palm Springs or Santa Barbara or something where we all have to go together. They would meet with us and then we'd all go together. But then they would help us break down because that's what they were used to, and we welcome the help. It's like, yeah, that's great. Sometimes we just go, no, just go. Thank you, though. Just go. We got it.
So did you have an entry-level hourly fee? And then
yes.
If a person...
Yeah, for someone who, it depended on experience, exactly. It depends on experience. There was an entry-level, certain amount of money that they would make on an hourly rate, and then it would go up from there depending on how good they were, how good they got, how they excelled. And I had, some dancers really excel quickly and some didn't. Just like anything else. And
then they weren't a payroll situation. They were more of a 1099 contract deal.
Right. They're all independent contractors. Exactly. Yeah. So, and some dancers work for different companies, and I can subcontract them out and have them come work for me if they're not working for somebody else, depending on how busy of a weekend we may be having, and I may need more coverage. And some are think that they're worth a lot more than they are, and sometimes I wouldn't hire them because they were asking for too much money. It's like, what? Wow. No, I can't.
In terms of recruiting talent for a party enhancer, do you find yourself with your radar out and just in general life when you're out and about and you find somebody with a unique personality? Have you ever just randomly said, would you be interested in working parties as whatever? I don't know how you would phrase it, but have you ever recruited somebody completely outside of the mitzvah world?
Is that part of my bio? Because I was like, that's pretty funny you asked that question, because I was at a wedding. I was doing a wedding. I was performing at a wedding downtown here in LA. And I was playing music, and there was this one waitress. She's probably like 5'5", blonde, bubbly, bouncing off the walls, just dancing, walking along, dancing to everything I was playing, just bebopping, right? So I called her over to my DJ setup, and I said, hey, what's your name? She goes, oh, my name's Susie. I said, you are having way too much fun. You're supposed to be working. She looked at me. I said, no, it's a pleasure to watch you bounce around and dance while you're working. Are you a dancer? She says, yeah, I'm a dancer. And I said, have you ever danced at a bar bat mitzvah? She says, no, but I've always wondered what it would be like. And I gave her my card. I said, here. I said, call me. I said, I'm looking for dancers. Call me. So cut to like 3 months later, she never called. And 3.5 months, she calls. She says, "Hey, do you remember me?" Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Yes, I remember you." I had her come to a party, a day party in near UCLA, a day mitzvah. And she jumped out there and was having a blast. And I said, we were going to a night party from that party. I said, "I will give you this much money if you want to come and dance tonight too." And she went, "Yeah." And it wasn't a lot of money, but it was like, "I'll give you some money if you want to come and dance tonight." Because that's how much fun she was. And that was probably 10 years ago.
Wow.
And she still works for me.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young people don't realize how great the party business is, because, you can make a certain amount of money just working one night a week or one day a week if you're double booked. And then you have the rest of the week to pursue whatever it is you want to pursue. And,
Exactly.
the party enhancer thingy is just such a great job. And, who knows where people will go with it. I mean, there's some dancers who, like you mentioned, a dancer that became an MC, and, they'll bump up in pay, but the same hours and that sort of thing. I think the party circuit can really help out somebody that needs that extra income without spending a lot of time.
And one of the most important things about a party enhancer is someone who smiles.
Yep.
Someone who's having fun. I've seen a lot of dancers at other parties, other events, and they're not smiling. They're not having a good time.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me. But you eliminate that in the hiring process too, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I would eliminate that right from the start. Right. If I had someone come to see a party and jumped out there and wasn't smiling, wasn't having a good time, I was like, okay, well, I'll give you a call. It's like, no, you want someone who's enjoying it and having fun, and it exudes fun. You just have, it's infectious. When they're having a good time, other people will have a good time. It's like,
that's where we should put a little bow on this episode, because you just said the whole kind of theme of this episode right there. You want people that are going to have fun. Otherwise, they're not enhancing the party. That's really cool. Gil,
right.
Tell everybody how they can reach out and touch you, so to speak.
Well, I don't know. I'm a married man. ZunigaEntertainment.com on the internet, but more importantly, Zuniga Entertainment on Facebook. We have more information there, more video, more pictures on Facebook than anything else. On Instagram, we're also Zuniga Entertainment. You can call us at area code 818-980-9099, 818-980-9099. And
there you go.
If you have any questions, we're more than happy to hold your hand and walk you through the process of what we do.
Yeah, and if there's anybody who has specific questions for Gil in regards to an upcoming party or whatever that you would like us to discuss on the podcast, then by all means, reach out to Gil and he'll make a note of it, and then we'll bring it to life here in the Mitzvah Party Podcast. And that's it for this episode of the Mitzvah Party Podcast. This is Clint, and on behalf of Gil, we will see you next time.